I wanted to bring you guys one of my lower body flows. So it's actually from Go Wad, and what I do is I do a daily stretch routine in the evenings, and a lot of times I'll just go through the daily stretch routine if my whole body is sore. But lately, with all the cycling that I've been adding in and some of the hill sprints and things like that, I've been feeling a little beat up in my lower body. So I figured I would share my flow with you guys, and so you can get some good ideas of stretches that you can do at home, no equipment required. So the first one I'm gonna start with is actually for my quads. So I'm gonna start my timer. I actually need a wall for this one, but I can also do it without a wall. So I'm gonna come into a half kneeling position. If you guys have a wall, you would just put your foot up against the wall and just hang out in this position. But for me, since I don't have a wall, I'm just gonna lean back and grab it with my hand. And I'm gonna hold, balance is a little challenging on the grass. I'm gonna hold here for about 2 minutes, just pushing my hips down and forward, keeping my chest as upright as I possibly can. So right now I am holding 2 minutes per side, so I'm almost done with this side. So I'm just pushing my hips down and forward. I feel this all through my front hip. Again, if you have a wall, you'd put your foot on the wall, but I wanted to get outside today and just kind of switch things up and enjoy the beautiful scenery. So my 2 minutes are up, so now I'm gonna switch legs. Same thing, you may notice for me, my left quad is actually a lot tighter. So I'm gonna reach back, grab my toe, and I'm just gonna try to hold in this position. Again, trying to keep my chest as tall as I can while I push my hips down and forward. So once I make it through that stretch on both legs, I'll hit next. And my next one that came up is actually, they call it the Breakdancer, but I'm gonna bring one leg in so you guys can see, one leg into the side, and I'm gonna rotate my chest, hit play, and then I'm just gonna try to grab my toes and relax here. I'm gonna tuck my chin to my chest and just hold. And I should feel this all through the outside of my hip and my lower back. And again, trying to rotate your chest so we're directly over our quad as we hold. So once my minute is up, I'm gonna go ahead and switch my legs and then hold here as well. So this is the next one is one of my absolute favorites. It's one that I incorporate on my own if it doesn't get incorporated into my daily programs, but it's called the frog. So you're gonna take your knees as far apart as you can. I like to use the outside of my mat as my goal. So I bring my knees to the outside of my mat. From here, I'm just gonna think about pushing my pelvis or my hips as far back as I can. Once I'm in that position, I hit start, and I'm gonna hold this for 2 minutes. I'm just gonna take my chest and my head to the floor and try to relax into the stretch as much as I can. This specific stretch for me allows us to open our inner adductors. So a lot of times we forget to stretch inner hips. We're always doing pigeon, stretching our outer glutes, but opening up, it just kind of helps you open up your inner hip, and then it also helps you open up your T-spine and your lats and your upper back by allowing your chest to sink into the floor. This is one of my all-time favorites. Make sure you have a soft ground. So I'm on grass if I'm not on my yoga mat, which is very soft and it doesn't put much pressure on our knees. Definitely, if you have cement, wood floor, things like that, make sure to grab some pillows or a blanket and put them under your knees just to protect them. My next stretch is gonna be for the Piriformis. This is something that I tend to struggle with. So it's a muscle right underneath of your glute med that is hard to get to at times. So we're just gonna cross one leg, try to keep our chest as tall as we possibly can slightly rotate, but I'm hugging my knee into my chest as tight as I possibly can. I feel this all through my outside of my hip and kind of through my glute as well. And I'm gonna hold this position for a minute on each leg. So once I hold for a minute on this side, I'm gonna go ahead and switch. This is one of my favorite stretches. Just make sure when you do this stretch, you keep your chest as tall as you can. So we don't wanna lean forward because we're not gonna feel much in our hip there. So the first thing that needs to happen is our chest is tall, then we pull our knee in the best that we can. This is a really great place to start if maybe you aren't able to get into the pigeon position due to mobility restrictions or pain in the knee or things like that. It takes some of the pressure off of the knees, but still allows us to dive deep into our glutes and into our piriformis to get a really great stretch, especially when we've been hammering our lower body. Guys, and to end my lower body flow, we're gonna end with 2 minutes of a pigeon stretch. So we just did the twisted one, which is kind of like a pigeon. Now we're gonna flip over. What we're gonna do is we're gonna start in almost like a long lunge position and drop 1 foot under. From here, I like to try to sit that hip towards the ground and push my back leg as long as I possibly can. I already feel a really awesome stretch. If you can, we want to try to bring our forearms to the ground. So forearms down, and now just relax into the stretch as much as you possibly can. So I'm just gonna focus on breathing deep, clearing my head, and just imagining my fascia starting to let go, the stress leave my body, my muscles start to loosen up so I can feel really great at my next training session and maybe get some really good sleep tonight. Stretching is super important. So this is my lower body flow that I get from my app called GoWOD Mobility First. It's a super awesome app. They offer a free trial. The reason I love it is I can target specific areas and then I can set the timer for those stretches. Whether you have the app or not, you could follow this exact plan. This exact lower body stretching plan is going to be great for whoever you are. It's going to help us loosen up our hips, release our stress, and hopefully help us to move better and be able to get into better positions when we're training. I think it's important. Today I chose to bring my yoga mat. I chose to just come to get some fresh air, get some vitamin D, and just enjoy the scenery and get out from what my usual scenery looks like. And I already feel better. So if you're kind of bored of your old stretching routine, maybe give this one a try and maybe try to find a new spot to do it. I've definitely gotten some funny looks as people walk by, but maybe I'll encourage them to stretch as well. Maybe it will remind them to stretch. I'm not sure, but I hope you guys give this a try. Feel free to comment below with what your favorite stretch is. I would love to know. Do you prefer lower body stretching, upper body stretching, thoracic, shoulders, whatever it is? Make sure to tell me and let me know in the comments below. I hope you guys have a great day, and I look forward to seeing you guys soon.